Hey guys, my name is Noah, and today I'm going to walk through with you everything you need to know about PEX, some of the most common questions you might have about it, and how to go from beginner to pro on installing it into your home in under 12 minutes. Let's get into it. So what is PEX? PEX is basically braided polyethylene pipe, and it's not corrosive like cast iron or copper, and it is super flexible and it's easy to install. And basically it's a flexible plastic, and you might be wondering, why in the world should I choose this over CPVC? CPVC, if you don't know, is just a specialty type of plastic that we've used in the past. The reason being is because it doesn't shatter like CPVC, and it also it doesn't have as many weak points, because CPVC, you use glue joints. You don't have to use any of that for this. The weak point with PEX is not so much PEX itself, it's the fittings that you use for it. I'm using brass fittings today. I don't like using plastic fittings. Plastic fittings are gonna fail on you. So go ahead, save yourself the trouble, and go with brass fittings instead. They make a wide variety of fittings. They make shutoff valves. They make adapters, so that way you can adapt it to CPVC. Like if you had CPVC running into your home and you needed to adapt to it to run PEX, that's easy to do. I get all this stuff off of Amazon. It's a lot cheaper than buying at Lowe's or Home Depot. All you're going to need for running PEX is basically a measuring tape, Sharpie, so that way you can measure and cut out your pipe. You can also get pipe cutters, and also for this application I'm using a crimp ring tool. So they make these crimp rings that is not going to be the best picture. So they make these crimp rings that you basically just slide onto your PEX, and we'll just use this for the application. And basically all you're going to do is take your crimp tool, you're going to slide it. I like to make sure that it's like a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch from the tip of my my PEX, or sorry, my fitting. That way I know that I'm getting on that sleeve coming out enough so that it will have a good bond to it. So basically you're going to get your crimp tool and squeeze it until there's actually with this crimp tool, there's a blue light that comes on. Yep, right there. It's coming on. And that will tell you when to stop squeezing. Now, if you ever make a mistake and you put on the wrong fitting or anything like that, you can basically take an angle grinder and try your best to take this off. They make specialty tools for this. I've just never actually bought them, but don't worry if you mess up, because your fittings are still okay. You're gonna just have to cut off your PEX pipe and maneuver around that a little bit, but you can still reuse the stuff. And that's the cool thing about it. Your crimp ring will be gone though, so just have that in mind. And the same thing goes for like your adaptive fittings. All you're gonna have to do is basically, let me see if this fitting hooks up to CPVC. You basically are gonna you're gonna prime and glue your CPVC into this joint here, and it has a PEX adapter. That way you can just shove it on in there, shove your ring on there, clamp it, and go for it. So it's super easy to do. I'm gonna tell you about the first time I used PEX. We were renovating a home, my boss and I and a few other guys, and I had no experience with PEX at all. I'd never run plumbing or anything like that. He said, get in the crawl space and start running this stuff. I said, well, okay, just show me how to do it, because I've never done this before. And it was super simple. All you had to do was, well, first thing I had to do was take out all the old 30-year-old CPVC that was cracking on me, and had to get rid of all that, and then just run an adapter. Then that way I started doing my main lines and then teeing off with that. Your main lines for your home are going to be 3/4 inch not CPVC, PEX. And then your 1/2 inch, like this stuff, is going to be teeing off of that to your supply lines for your sink, your washing machine, dishwasher, toilet, anything like that. All your utilities. And you're going to have a shut-off valve at the end of all your utilities, so that way you can shut them off if you had to do any maintenance work down the road. They make more shut-off valves that are a lot more decorative than these. I like to put these behind showers, so that way I just have a quick and easy shut-off valve for that. They also make another fitting. It's not PEX, but it is adaptable to PEX. It's called SharkBites, and SharkBites actually a brand. But they, you can use them if you have copper piping through your home. It's basically like a Chinese finger trap, and it relies on basically your copper pipe having a clean edge to it. So you're going to want to get some fine sandpaper, and then basically you just shove it on. It's a compression fitting. And I'm not the biggest fan of these. They're expensive, and they can be prone to leaks. They're not nearly as good as the crimp rings. There's a whole myriad of different ways that you can use PEX piping. I mean, they have expansion fittings, they have crimp rings, they have SharkBite, and all that sort of stuff. I like to use crimp rings best of all because they're just simple, easy to use, and they're pretty much bulletproof. I mean, whenever you turn your water on into your home, you know whether or not you have a leak or not, because it's going to show up instantly if it is. And I've never had that problem before if you do it right. So what are some common questions that you might have about PEX and how to run it? So is PEX outdoor rated? Yes and no, and here's why. PEX will deteriorate in UV light. So basically it doesn't do great with sunlight exposure. You can bury it though for outdoor use. But you're going to want to check your local guidelines and building codes, so that way you know what your frost barrier is. You're going to want to trench deeper than your frost barrier to bury your line. And if you have it going up to a post or anything like that, you're going to want to make sure that your pipe is insulated. Which PEX should I use, A, B, or C? So there's 3 different types of PEX. This is PEX A. This is the higher quality PEX. This is a really good one for, it's more flexible than other PEXs, and it just holds up better over time. PEX B is more like it's your more affordable, but it's like a trailer quality PEX. Like I said, and I think that one might be used for just expansion fittings as well. And then PEX C is a stiffer, more rugged PEX that's not more commonly sold. So I always try to stick to PEX A if I can, especially if I'm wanting a good result and just a good job in general. I always like to do that. What size PEX do you need? 1/2 inch going to all your utilities, and then your main runs are going to be 3/4 inch. So running pipe through 4-joist for PEX pipe in general, you're going to want to get some paddle bits if you're going to have to do this. I want to encourage you to avoid as much as you can drilling into your 4-joist. I mean, it kind of is the thing that's holding up your home, but sometimes you just got to do it. Always go through the center of your 4-joist, and as far as how many times you should drill through it, I want you to check your local building codes. It will inform you on all of that information, but always make sure that you go for the center of your 4-joist, so that way you have the most structural strength to your 4-joist. They make a lot of different hangers for PEX, because especially if you're in a basement or anything like that, you're gonna have to suspend your PEX up somehow. They make U-hangers, and they also make these little clip-on ones that just snap onto the PEX, and then they have a nail right here that you can tap in along your four joists. The reason why PEX is such a great investment for your home is that, one, it's the same price as CPVC, but it's a lot better quality. You don't have to do soldering like you would with copper lines or anything like that. And then you also don't have to deal with the repercussions and also pricing of copper and cast iron. Oh my gosh. I would never want to do that. Cast iron pipe will start to corrode itself shut in like 20 to 40 years. Ask me how I know. It's not fun to mess with. Go ahead and save yourself the hassle. Like, nobody's using cast iron anymore. Also, don't go cheap with the fittings. These fittings, like I said, are the weak point. The stronger they are, the better they are. I just really want to encourage you to not skimp on this. PEX is a really good all-around plumbing tool, and everybody's using it. My biggest takeaway for this would be, don't go skimping on this. I know it's a lot of money all at once, but it is worth the investment, especially if you ever had a water line break from CPVC or anything like that. This is just, it's worth gutting it all out and replacing it if you can. And that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you got a lot from it. Leave a comment down below if you had any questions. Until next time, I'll see you later.